Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Let's Talk. Well, hey, I don't know about you all, but a few minutes ago I was looking out the window and I saw snowflakes. Now, here we were, what, 70 some degrees last week? And we've got snowflakes this week. It's winter almost. We got about another month to go and before winter officially starts. But yesterday and today, it feels like winter. So, hey, glad you're here. Hope you're warm, cozy, having a cup of tea or something to keep you warm. I'm glad to be with you. I'm Denise Rollard Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer, and your host of Let's Talk here on WIN TV. And I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. You know, we're entering the holiday season starting with Thanksgiving next week. And we want to say we are indeed thankful. I know that you all are thinking about the things that you're thankful for because you're going to be sitting around that Thanksgiving dinner table, hopefully. And everybody's going to get a chance to say, I'm thankful for, and whatever that is. And so I'm going to start us off. I am thankful, one, I'll just say for family. And when I talk about family, I'm not only talking about my own family, my husband, my sons, my mom, and all my relatives, my brother, who I love so dearly, as well as my family of friends, especially my girlfriends. We can ready to take a girls' trip not in a few days, but my friends. I'm thankful for my colleagues, my staff members here at the Washington Informer who keep the ball rolling, keep the balls in the air. We're juggling a whole lot of things, and we have done, I think, really well this year. And looking so forward after being thankful for making it through 2024 to go into 2025. So I'm very, very thankful for the staff. I'm extremely thankful to you, our viewers, our readers, our supporters, those of you all that keep the Washington Informer going. If it were not for you, we wouldn't be here today. So I have so much to be thankful for. And the last thing I'm going to add is my health. Thank goodness God, I am so thankful for my health. And 2024, I know 2025, I know when we get to the end of the year and we start talking about our New Year's resolutions, I hope that health is one of the things that we all put on our resolutions for 2025 and mean it seriously, because we always talking about I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, I'm gonna start exercising, I'm gonna. But let's if we're really thankful for what we have today, even if it's the little things, the little things. I talked with someone the other day who told me that, they're going through a thing because they're just thinking about all the different ways they've disappointed people over the years. And I started ticking off things that they've done that have brought joy into other people's lives. And he just hadn't taken the time to think about that. And so I had to give him a few examples to say, come on, you've been a gift to people. And so, yeah, we all disappoint folks every now and then, but we have to be thankful that we've been able to bring joy in the lives of others. So that's enough for my list of thankfulness. And hopefully, if you all have some things that you want to share, go right ahead now and do so, because we certainly want to hear that. And what we do in the Black press is to amplify those voices and inspire others. I hope you picked up a copy of this week's Washington Informer. Just want to make sure that you see, again, what I'm thankful for, that we're still printing a newspaper. And I hope you've gotten a chance to pick up a copy. We're, as I say, in about 600 locations throughout the DMV. So you can pick up a hard copy and read it over the weekend. We've got some great, great stories in here, including the opening of the Go-Go Museum here on Martin Luther King Avenue. Ron Moten, I have to give him a real shout out because they did a great job. If you haven't had a chance to go there and check it out, maybe over the holidays you can do that, and you will be impressed and thankful that he and those who have worked to put this museum together and those who've worked to support it are helping to keep DC's go-go music alive. And then there are lots of other stories there that I think you would definitely enjoy reading. So pick up a copy of The Informer. And if you haven't, you can always access the digital edition anytime, anywhere by visiting our website at washingtoninformer.com. Again, that's one word, washingtoninformer.com. And while you're there, we hope that you will check the little box and become a subscriber. We offer a series of newsletters like Win Daily and some others. And as you get into the site, you'll see all of the other things that we do offer. And we hope that you'll consider that too, because we know sometimes you want all the news that we cover, and sometimes you only want some of the news, some specialized things like Our House, which talks about home ownership in the DMV, or Win Africa, which is a new newsletter we're launching that talks about the African diaspora and what's happening in the diaspora here in the DMV. Money Talk, that's sponsored by JP Morgan Chase, which helps you to understand how to, we're all talking about financial literacy, but more importantly, is how we build financial wealth within our communities. And that's really, really important. And of course, we are among 10 legacy Black owned newspapers in a collaborative called Word in Black. And that's an amazing, amazing newsletter that we offer from those publications, and some national news to keep you up to date on the news that you can use across the DMV. So go to the website, sign up, become a member of the family, and then there's something called Deals and Offers. We got some great opportunities that we're going to be sharing with you throughout the DMV. So you would want to sign up for that as well. And lastly, having all these requests, as I always do, while tuning into the show today, we hope that you'll spread the word and share this broadcast on your social media platforms. You can follow us on Facebook, IG, X, TikTok, Threads, Nextdoor, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we have just signed up on, is it Blue Sky? Blue Sky. Yeah, I haven't checked it out, but I'm going to, because we're there. And I've been hearing a lot of news about Blue Sky. And as some folks are divorcing themselves from X, and we understand why. But the alternative now seems to be Blue Sky. And so the Washington Informer is everywhere. And we hope that you will sign up and follow us on those platforms. And of course, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Washington Informer TV, no spaces, all one word, where you can catch some of the older Let's Talk episodes and that you may have missed and that may be of interest to you. So the Washington Informer is, again, we want you to be able to access the news you can use no matter where you are, anytime, all day, every day. So with that, we're going to move to our news broadcast. Curtis Knowles is back with us. We've missed him, but now he is back with us, and he has provided us our updated news broadcast, and we'll go to that right now.
This is Win TV News, bringing you the news that matters. A revised senior property tax credit passed the Prince George's County Council with an 8-0 vote on November 12th. To qualify for the tax credit, residents must be 65 years or older, have lived in their home for 25 or more years, and have a home appraisal of $500,000 or less. The bill's main sponsor was County Councilman Ed Burrows III, who noted that the goal of the legislation is to keep seniors in Prince George's County. It is estimated that the tax credit could cost between $59 to $98 million over the next 5 years, but will help seniors save a few $100,000 per year on their property taxes. Drivers frustrated by the long-term Ohio Drive road closure along D.C.'s southwest waterfront will see relief with the opening of a new access road on Monday. Since June, a small section of Ohio Drive along the Potomac River has been closed due to work on the Potomac River Tunnel project. D.C. Water is opening the new access street called West Potomac Park Drive, which will connect Independence Avenue and Ohio Drive. The 3-lane road has 2 lanes headed north and a single southbound lane. D.C. Water CEO and General Manager David L. Gatiss commented saying, quote, "As we work to improve water quality and reduce sewer overflow in the Potomac River, we also recognize the importance of maintaining access for traffic and the millions who visit West Potomac Park each year." The Go-Go Museum and Cafe had its ribbon-cutting ceremony on November 18th after several years in development. The 8,000-square-foot space in Washington, D.C.'s Anacostia neighborhood will highlight the history of go-go music and culture, the city's signature style of funk. The forthcoming spot will reportedly have holograms and memorabilia of iconic go-go musicians including DJ Kool, Anwan Glover, Sugar Bear, and the band Rare Essence. The community space will host live performances and boast a recording studio, an outdoor space, and a graffiti exhibit. The creator, Ronald Moulton, commented saying, quote, "We wanted to create a space where the community could come together to celebrate and experience go-go in all its glory."
Thanks, Curtis. Great updates. And one other update that I'm going to add to the news broadcast. I guess you have heard it yesterday. Metro announced that they are no longer going to allow folks to ride free on the Metro buses. Now, I'm gonna tell you, not too long ago, I had a little situation, and I ended up having to catch the bus to my office. And I asked people, because I have to confess, it'd been a little while since I caught a bus. And I asked folks, how much does it cost to catch the bus? And there is not one person that gave me a price. All of them said, oh, it's free. Just go on and get on. And I'm thinking, how does that happen? I've never known the bus to be free. But that's what they said. And I found $1 because nobody gave me the amount I needed. I was just coming up the hill. I put $1 in. I have to say, the bus driver looked at me rather oddly, like, okay, if you want to pay, that's fine. But nobody else paid for that bus. Well, folks, if you don't know, let folks know that will no longer be the case. Metro is going to have Metro police officers stationed at buses, so the bus drivers don't have to handle it. They will have Metro police officers there to arrest you and fine you if you do not pay for the bus. And we do want good bus service in the DMV. We want to be able to provide. I mean, we're tired of hearing Metro talking about they don't have any money. And we're tired of, some of the things that have been happening with the Metro system and the buses breaking down and all of that. And we've got one of the better systems, I believe, in the country. But we've got to make sure that we pay for it. Now, there may be some questions about how much we pay. And I think we're going to have a conversation about that in the coming weeks. But I'm just letting you know, and you let everybody else know, no more free rides on Metro. Now, let's move on. I am so excited to have our guest, Carrie Stoltzfus, who is who's the executive director of Food and Friends. Carrie, welcome to Let's Talk.
Hi, Denise. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And I hate to segue from from free bus rides to free food, but in this case, we really do need to talk about the great need that Food and Friends is providing to the community. So, let's first talk about, or tell us what Food and Friends is.
Absolutely. So, Food and Friends delivers meals and nutrition counseling to people who are living with a serious diagnosis, and those meals are medically tailored. So, what that means is that our food is designed for whatever people happen to be going through when they're sick. So, if you have cancer and you're going through chemotherapy, or maybe you have kidney failure and you're going through dialysis, we have meals that are designed to be exactly what you need to help you manage your health at home. We do that for free, and we provide it to the clients themselves, the sick person themselves, and to their family members.
I hope that's not someone calling for a meal.
I just took my phone off so that won't happen again.
Oh God. Okay. All right. But I know, because we talked a little bit about this earlier. I mean, it sounds like a great program, but I want people to understand why this program is so important and what the need is that you all have, are trying to address.
Yeah. So, if you think about a serious diagnosis is something that can happen to anybody, right? And no one is ever ready for it. It can affect, obviously your health, your finances, your entire family. And so we want to be here when people need us, when they are facing that unexpected moment, when they get a diagnosis, and their healthcare provider is the one who refers them to us. And so Food and Friends will begin delivering food to you at home. Like I said, that's designed to be exactly what you need. We also pair each one of our clients with a registered dietitian who can talk to them about their symptoms, their side effects, what they're eating, anything that we can do to help people to manage their health and feel better.
So I know we're going into the holidays, but the question is is there, do you all provide, well, can I ask this? Is there a one size meal for all, or are there specialized meals for people with special diagnosis?
Yeah, so we have 11 different meal plans that we provide, and we can also layer those. So if you have multiple conditions and multiple needs, we are able to address that. And we can also change what someone is receiving over time as they either become more stable or perhaps their health continues to decline. What we do for the holidays, though, is on Thanksgiving Day, everyone does receive the same meal. Everyone gets a Thanksgiving feast. They get an entire roast turkey, all the sides, stuffing, greens, green beans, cranberries, everything that you can think of that you would want for Thanksgiving, we deliver. And that makes it possible for our clients to, host their own loved ones. We take care of people who are sick and, normally don't have the opportunity to do that. So this is their chance to, gather their loved ones, be thankful for those who have been part of their care throughout the year. And we want to provide them, with the abundance to be able to do that.
And for those who are just watching the show or may see the show today or this weekend, is it too late for them to sign up for a meal if they're not already a part of Food and Friends?
Yeah, so the way that you come on to Food and Friends is it's a referral from your healthcare provider. So anyone who is interested in receiving food from us should talk to their doctor. That's where it starts, right? Our eligibility is based on your health and your medical needs. And so, it does normally take a few days to get signed up. So somebody who would, today's Friday, if you call your doctor and get a referral, you're not going to be able to sign up for Thanksgiving anymore since we're at less than a week. But if you are in need, you should absolutely still do that because, we're going to be open again the next week and the week after that and the week after that. And we do operate 6 days a week year round. So if someone is watching us today, Denise, and you are struggling, you have a serious illness, you're struggling to meet your nutritional needs, you should absolutely ask your doctor about Food and Friends.
Wonderful. About how many people are you all serving, Carrie? And is it DC or the DMV?
It's the broader DMV.
Okay.
So we actually cover 9 counties in Maryland, the western half of the state, and 7 counties in Northern Virginia, in addition to DC itself. Last year we took care of about 5,500 people, I think. So yeah, we take care of a lot of folks. And like I think I mentioned earlier, we do take care of the household, right? So if the person who is facing a diagnosis has a caregiver or minor dependents, that are part of the household, we want to take care of those folks too, because we really do, understand that the illness affects the whole household. So that the 5,500 people includes those caregivers as well.
Wow, that's quite a few people. I mean, how do you all do that? You talked about volunteers. I mean, that's a lot of households to get to throughout the DMV. Tell me, how do you use volunteers?
Yeah, I mean, we would not be the agency that we are without volunteers. We have a wonderful staff here of about 70, and we have over 4,000 volunteers a year. And the amount of hours that volunteers spend with us double the power of our staff. So our volunteers are chopping vegetables, they're ladling soup, they're preparing entrees, they are packing and organizing all of those different meal plans that I was talking about, and they are also delivering meals as well. So volunteers deliver half of the meals that we provide. The staff deliver the other half. And so volunteers are really the core of what we do and are what makes Food and Friends possible every day.
So that's the reason why we wanted you here, because we wanted. I mean, people right now are who've been blessed in many ways, are looking for opportunities to help others, particularly during this holiday season. So if someone is listening and wants to volunteer for Food and Friends, what must they do?
Yeah, absolutely. We have plenty of opportunities, and that's, it's one of the things that I love about where we live so much, Denise, is how volunteer-minded people are. So anyone who is interested in volunteering for Food and Friends should go to our website, which is foodandfriends.org. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. And we make it pretty easy for you to sign up and get started. So there's just a little bit of info to fill out on the website. There's an online orientation you can do where we talk about our needs in the different shifts, different times of day, both in the kitchen and out on delivery. And then folks can go ahead and get started. And so, yeah, we make it pretty easy. I think we have 2 online orientations a month. And then people can sign up for shifts. Shifts are 2 or 3 hours long. We ask folks to think about making a 6-month commitment at least. But to be honest, a lot of people, volunteer for much longer than that. We've got a lot of volunteers who have been with us for years, who have made friends, on their shift. And this really is a great place for the community to come together and help take care of each other.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I hope that folks will consider signing up, Carrie, because that's one thing that we realize is hunger is a big issue in the DMV. And, we act like it's not, but I've heard that there are longer lines for food. People are trying to access food. And like you said, if you have a serious illness, I mean, your first thing you're trying to figure out is how am I going to eat? But I'm wondering also, because we're going into the, Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, are there any particular times of the year when the need is greater, or is this it?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you that we always have a need over the winter holidays, like the week between Christmas and New Year's, where a lot of people are out of town. Maybe they're taking off work, they want to be with their families, and we absolutely have a need for volunteers that week and beyond. I mean, we are here Monday through Saturday year round, but I really do encourage people to think of us and sign up now. A lot of people think about volunteering on Thanksgiving, as they should. We have a lot of need, and there's a lot of work that's going to be happening at Food and Friends on Thanksgiving Day. But think about us beyond then too, and particularly around those winter holidays when a lot of people might be taking some time off. We would love to see you here.
Wonderful. And they'll get a chance to meet you?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm almost always here. So I'm not the most fun thing about this place, but I will absolutely be happy to see anybody who's here with us that time of year.
Sometimes I like to ask people, I mean, how did you kind of get into this? What brought you to Food and Friends and this whole thing about feeding folks who are in need? What was your journey?
Yeah, I mean, it really was the mission that just struck me. Like I said, an illness is something that can happen to anybody, and we tend to not be ready. And I really do believe that food is something that everybody has the right to have, really high quality, nutritious food. And the benefit here is that it is made by your neighbors and delivered to you by your neighbors. And so just the mission of that kind of care and providing food for people really in a time of need is something that struck me and has been really meaningful to me ever since. And I've actually been at Food and Friends since 2003.
Wow.
So a really long time now. And this mission has just really continued to resonate with me. So it's what Food and Friends does that drew me here and keeps me here. And I think that's true for the people who volunteer with us also.
I know that I think back because I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Food and Friends sort of evolving out of the AIDS pandemic.
Yep.
And it's hard. I know we're about to observe World AIDS Day on December the 1st, that we still have people who are impacted. Fortunately, they're not dying from the disease, but they still get sick from the disease. And so it's good to know that you've now included people who are just in need for other medical reasons as well. But yeah, anything you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. We were founded out of the AIDS movement, that community, a lot of the LGBT community who were allies to folks who were living with AIDS at that time in the 80s. And, in the years since, we have really built on what we learned from caring for that community to care for people with other illnesses. When folks living with HIV and AIDS, had the benefit of the advanced medications and were living longer, they started getting diabetes and heart failure like all the rest of America. And so, we were taking care of folks who were, dealing with AIDS and other illnesses. And then we learned, what those nutritional needs were and started taking on other illnesses. So that community really has given this gift of Food and Friends and of, the whole idea of medically tailored meals to the community. So I'm really proud of our history and those folks that we took care of in those early days and what they, have enabled us to do in the years since.
So, Carrie, before we go, we have folks on this who may be listening, and folks in our community who have this sense of pride, right? And they don't want to ask for help.
Mhm.
There's some stigma about asking for help.
Mhm.
But what would you say to those in who may be listening or who will see
Mhm.
this about how to, understand that this is why this is of value to them, that they shouldn't be concerned about the stigma?
Yeah, I love that question because I see that a lot here. It is hard to be in a position where you need help with food. And we take care of so many people who never expected to find themselves in that position. We also take care of people who were, maybe struggling with money before they got sick, but we take care of people who weren't. Our eligibility is based on your health. It is not based on your income. It is not based on your age. It is based on your health condition. And this is something that can happen to anyone. We hear from clients all the time who are in a position of caring for other people. Maybe they were caring for a family, they were giving money away, they had a great job, and that is changing, and it's hard to kind of find yourself at that position, but it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And I've needed help from people in the past. I know I'm going to need help from people in the future. So if right now I can be a help to other people, while I can be, that's what I want to do, and that's what everyone working at Food and Friends wants to do. So I would just encourage folks, things happen to all of us. We're all going to find ourselves at a point in need. And Food and Friends is here, is here with care and hopefully with no stigma. I don't want people to be afraid to reach out to us. We know that this is something that can happen to anyone. And we want to be here when you need us. So please reach out.
I'm like the Baptist preacher that always says my last point, and this is my last one because we talked about volunteers. But how is Food and Friends funded, and do you all take donations from people who may not be able to take the time but have a couple of dollars, particularly now at the end of the year, to
Yes, I
donate?
love that question. Thank you for asking it. Time and support. Those are the two things that we need. We need time, we need donations. So Food and Friends is funded. Half of our budget comes through philanthropy, right? So those are those good-hearted people who want to take care of their neighbors. Those are individuals, their foundations, their corporations. We are always accepting donations. So that's 50% of our budget. 30% is public funding. So that is DC government, Maryland government, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Fairfax County. And 20% is partnerships that we have with Medicaid managed care organizations that will refer their members to us. So that is how we raise our funds. But yeah, we really do rely on the community, just like we do for volunteers. We rely on the community for financial support to keep these services free to people who need them.
Wonderful. Make sure I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Is it Stoltzfus?
Yeah, it's Stoltzfus. Yeah.
Stoltzfus.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you
All
did
right.
great. I mean, there's a
Okay.
C in there, so you got to do what you can, but you did great.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just want to say, and I'm still going to go back to Carrie. Thank you so much for being with us and for sharing this great information. I hope folks will come out, join. You might see us, the Washington Informer, in the place one day, volunteering, coming to chop up some vegetables or something. We love doing that. So
Absolutely,
thanks.
you're welcome anytime.
Wonderful. We'll sign up and. Just have a wonderful holiday, and thank you for what you're doing to support our community, to feed our community.
Yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity to share what we do. This is wonderful.
Great. Okay. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
All righty. Yeah, think about it. And for those of you all who are watching, I would say sometimes we know people, someone who just got out of the hospital, like Harry said, there's nothing we can probably do right in time for Thanksgiving, but there's a resource out there for them. And sometimes we just don't know how we can support people who need help. And that's why it's important for us to know about these programs, because then we can refer them to opportunities that will help them through their times of need. And Food and Friends has been doing it for a long time. So I'm so glad they were with us. And speaking of food, I am really thrilled now to bring on our next guest, who is no stranger to the kitchen, no stranger to feeding people, no stranger to giving a great layout of a buffet and what have you. And that is none other than Chef Huda, who's a culinary virtuoso, a master of flavor. I love this, and a beacon of innovation in the kitchen. Welcome to Let's Talk, Chef Huda. How are you?
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor
My
to be here.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure. And when I think about the holidays, I don't know, your name always pops up in my head. What's
It's
what's
funny
she
how
got
that happens.
what's she got cooking in the kitchen? So, let me ask you because as we go into the holiday season, and
Mhm.
Carrie talked a little bit about the menu, the food that most people are going to be eating,
Yeah.
especially Thanksgiving, right?
Mhm.
But you've also talked about putting a healthy twist on some of our comfort foods. Tell us about how you discovered or decided to implement this approach.
Absolutely. Well, it's not just for holidays. It's anytime you're having a meal, you should be thinking about the things you're putting in your body. And I always tell people diets don't work because you feel like you're depriving yourself of something. And for a lot of people, the holidays is when you really indulge. And you can still indulge and enjoy the flavors that you're used to. You just have to think about it in a healthier way. So maybe include more veggies into the side dishes that you have. Maybe instead of doing a mashed sweet potato with all of the marshmallows and the sugar and chaos, maybe do a roasted sweet potato with maybe just the sauce that you make. I'm doing a miso caramel for my sweet potatoes this year. And instead of marshmallows, I'm doing the mascarpone cheese. So it's just like little changes here and there. Maybe roasting vegetables are a great side dish. Instead of doing a more meat heavy stuffing or casserole, we're doing things like a smoked mushroom. So it's really nice because it includes people who are vegetarian and those looking for vegetarian options, but it's also delicious and gives you that savory and that lusciousness that you're looking for. So it's really just about incorporating things that you might not think about.
I have to laugh because one of the things that I've read is whenever you're hosting a dinner, don't
Mhm.
experiment on people. So,
See,
so if you
see,
tell somebody I'm serving mushrooms with, and folks are, looking for that slice of ham, I mean, what do you do?
so listen, the holidays, let's be very clear. My family wants to see some of their traditional dishes, right? You
Right.
can do the traditional, but you can do the different dishes that I talked about, where you're incorporating other things. If you know that your family is hands down a mac and cheese family, that's probably not the dish you want to play with. But if you have opportunities where you can do different things with collard greens, you can do different things with different greens, you can incorporate different veggies that maybe your family doesn't usually have. I think that's a great opportunity to explore. I don't really agree with the don't experiment on people because who else you're going to experiment with? Like,
And tell you the truth, right?
it was like you're going to think it's great because you made it, but it's not going to tell you if it's actually great. So I think a dinner party, a gathering is the best time to one, experiment, but two, also if you have people that are really picking your family, this is a great opportunity to say, hey, family, how about you make that dish that you love so much and bring it over? So that way all the stress is not on you.
So I'm gonna tell you what happened last Thanksgiving. I decided to try a vegan mac and cheese.
Okay.
And I took regular almonds and I
Mm-hmm.
blended them and made my own almond milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I used a vegan cheese. And I don't know, I can't remember what else I did. I didn't
Okay.
tell anybody. And it was
So
interesting
how did
because
they feel?
everybody said, I love this mac and cheese. What did you do? Of course, I had another one on the side
Just in
just in
case.
case.
See, listen, and the interesting thing is eating healthy, people are being a little more mindful about it. But when you hear
Right.
something's healthy, you instantly go, I don't know if that's gonna be good. And healthy now, we have so many different options, especially with the meat substitutes, all the veggies, the things you can do with mushrooms are incredible. And I really think that if you don't tell anyone, a lot of times people love something before they can have a negative, just preconceived notion about it. So
Hmm.
I think it's great if you make something vegan on your table, unless someone has an allergy, don't tell them. Let them all enjoy because you wouldn't have done it for your regular dishes. So don't treat it like it's something super special. You have to tell people, well, I made almond milk and blah, blah, blah. Don't do that to yourself. Just let them try it. If they like it, then tell them later.
So, I mean, we're talking healthy, but if there were
Mhm.
some things that you would just generally tell people to wean themselves from that are somewhat I don't want to say unhealthy because, everybody needs to eat, but some things
Right.
that we might need to wean ourselves from because of things like diabetes and high blood pressure
Mhm.
and cancer and all the other things that, sometimes are food related,
Yes.
or diet related. What might be one thing, that you, or a couple things you might recommend?
See, you're gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna get
I
mail about
know.
this. So listen, I know like a lot of my cousins, there's a lot of lactose intolerant people out there who love mac and cheese. And I think the holidays and eating healthy, one, you have to pay attention to your body. You know what is good for your body, and what you're not supposed to have, and you still have. We're not judging anyone. So if you know that mac and cheese is not good for you because you're lactose intolerant, it has a negative effect on your body, then maybe a vegan option is a great place for you to start. And maybe that's the dish you bring to Thanksgiving. Also, if there are places that you don't have to include meat, I know for some people, collard greens have to have meat in them. Green beans have to have bacon in them. If you can incorporate it with spices, or other veggies to kind of get that lusciousness that you're looking for as far as flavor, and not include the meat fats, that's a healthier alternative as well. So I think it really pace yourself. Listen, I know people love their ham and love their turkey, and turkey is a less fattening meat. But if you can include more veggies, make sure you stay hydrated during the holidays, I think you'll have better results. And also with all the sweets, everything doesn't have to have sugar added to it. Sweet potatoes are wonderful when you roast them. Will it be the same as when you put the brown sugar and the mashed potatoes and the marshmallows and all of that on it? It won't be exactly the same, but sweet potatoes, especially if you get the Japanese ones, if you ever get an opportunity to try those are beautiful and almost like a dessert themselves. So just explore. It's a good time to explore and try different things.
And the other thing too, Chef Huda, is that when we look at substitutes, sometimes people will get that bowl or that scoop of collard greens,
Mhm.
and ask, "Is there meat in this?" And the host will proudly say, "Oh no, it's
Right.
smoked turkey. It's smoked turkey,"
Mhm.
thinking
Right.
that it's a better option. And I guess it is a better option, but how much better an option is it? I'm just curious.
Well, it's still a meat. It still has cholesterol. Some of my favorite greens are meatless. You can do amazing things with apple cider vinegar. You can do amazing things with stewed tomatoes. You can do amazing things with just garlic, onions, and peppers. So you can still get that flavor that you're used to. And also you can use smoked salts. So we have a spice line called Just Savor, and we have a line of smoked salts. So if you're looking for that smokiness that you typically get from like a smoked meat, it's a nice way to add it without adding all of the cholesterol and fat that you would from typical meat or pork or ham hock that you would put in a green. And also, I would say just try it without the meat and see how you feel. Because if collard greens are cooked properly, they're delicious. If green beans are cooked properly and seasoned properly, they're delicious. So I just be a little open-minded because it's the happy holiday season. So you want everyone to stay happy, stay healthy, and prosper in the new year.
So you had me go, just like put my foot on the brake. I almost, hit the steering wheel because I heard you say we have a line.
Yes.
So Chef Huda, wait a minute. Where can I get? Is it yours?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So I have a line of sauces and spices, home decor, perfect for the holidays, and it's available at justsavor.com. And we have salt-free options, and we also have traditional sea salt options as far as seasonings. And I just really love it because the whole point of the company is to make sure that we just take a moment to just savor the moments, the food we have, and the dishes that we make. And that's all available on justsavor.com. And we also have a holiday stock up sale. So everything is all the spices are 40% off. So it's a really good time to stock up for the holidays, and they're great gifts.
No, that is fantastic. I mean, I love that smoked, you said smoked salt.
Smoked applewood salt. It's really
Applewood
nice
salt.
if you're including salt in your diet. Obviously, if you're doing a salt-free
Right.
option, but I like to use it as a finishing salt. So one, you use less of it, and two, it has such a beautiful smell and just kind of enhances everything it goes on. So I think it's a wonderful salt.
And one other thing I want to ask about substitutes, because when you talked about the brown sugar, some folks, will proudly say, "Oh no, I just put a touch of honey. I use honey as opposed to brown sugar." I mean, are we talking about, the same
Apples to
thing,
apples.
apples and apples?
So interesting enough, with the sugars, brown sugar versus honey. I have family on both sides, and then I have some that are like, I just put maple syrup on it and call it a day. What I will say is that typically the things we put sugar on are fruits or sweet potatoes or things like that, and they usually have an inherent sweetness to them already. The thing I love about roasting sweet potatoes versus boiling them, or for my cousins, microwaving them, we're not going to talk about that. When you roast anything, it enhances the flavor. And if you taste a sweet potato once you've actually roasted it, it tends to be sweeter than it would have if you cooked it with the other methods. So really taste your food as you're going, and don't just add it because that's what your grandmother did. Don't just add it because that's what you've seen your mom do. Just really have a relationship with the food you're serving and also the food that you're consuming, and figure out where you are with your taste levels, because not everyone has the same flavor profile, as I would like to say, or preference. So doing that and making sure that you're doing something that works for you and is healthy for you and your body. Because again, you have to make sure that you're being true to yourself and good to your body at the same time.
So the last thing, here I go, my last thing. This is my last thing. But we talked about the meats and the turkey, but some people, I guess that they're the pescatarians. They have fish.
Yes.
For the holidays. But salmon used to be like a luxury food, something you would get every now and then. Now they said it's replaced chicken.
It is the fish.
It is the fish. But what other recommendations might you have if people are really considering a fish dish for the holidays as opposed
Absolutely. So I think including seafood, and we've always included seafood in our Thanksgiving meals and our holiday meals. I know for some people, they're like, no, it's turkey, ham, this, that, and the third. But you can have so much fun with seafood during the holidays and also with fish. You can do cod dishes if you're looking for something a little more lighter and buttery, and still in that same price point that you would see a salmon. You can also do an array of different dishes with cod, snapper, the list with trout. You could do dishes with scallops, with shrimp. Only thing I would say when you go into the seafood, for those watching their cholesterol, your shellfish tend to have higher cholesterol content. So don't eat a full plate of shrimp. Pace yourself and be aware of what you're putting in your body. But I say go crazy, because if your family's open to it and you have the traditional dishes that everyone's looking for, why not add some more options to the plate? For me, I like doing a cedar plank salmon and I know I say it wrong. It's salmon. I'm from Massachusetts. It is what it is. But, I like doing a cedar plank salmon. I also do a cranberry maple orange salmon during the holidays, because it picks up all those lovely flavors from your cranberry sauce, and it goes well with the other dishes that you have. So it's really just about incorporating different things. Experiment, you guys. It's food. If it doesn't go well, don't tell anyone you made it, and just, move on.
So the last, stuffing. Yeah, I have seen all types of stuffing. All types of stuffing. What's your favorite?
Okay. See, you're going to make me, I'm not going to get teary as I say this. My Uncle Donnell, who I love and I miss during the holidays, used to make this amazing oyster stuffing. And I've tried it a couple of times. I'm an accomplished chef and I know all those things, but it doesn't taste the same. It's still great, let's be clear, but it's not his. But that's ultimately my favorite. So it has oysters in it. Again, we incorporate seafood, oysters. And then because I don't eat pork, he would always do some type of sausage for other people. And then just the oysters, bell peppers, onions, garlic, all the good stuff, all the seasoning in there. So that's my favorite stuffing.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you, my husband is a fruit person. So the stuffing has raisins and apples and celery. And
Okay.
I mean, it's tasting pretty good,
I
but
can see it. It has
yeah.
the sweetness with the
Oh,
savory.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
see that.
He's
I like
looking in the
that.
cabinet trying to figure out what else he could do. I'm like, stop, stop.
Well, the fun part about stuffing is you can experiment with it. You can change the type of breads base that you use.
Yeah.
And you can just really incorporate, as long as you season it properly, and all your flavors go together.
Yeah.
Stuffing's a great place to kind of experiment as well.
Right. So, any last ideas or thoughts or recommendations for our folks? We would have loved to have talked about decorating, but we'll get to that in the next conversation. But just for the menu and the table, I know table settings
Absolutely.
are nice too. But
So, what I will say for everyone, just take a deep breath. It is the holiday season. You're supposed to enjoy it. You're doing things out of love to bring the people that you love together. So don't stress. If everything's not perfect, don't stress, because no one knows the ideal that you had in your head that didn't quite go right. The important thing is that you serve something delicious, you have fun doing it, and you're with people you love. So enjoy, have fun, experiment with new flavors and new dishes, and just enjoy the holidays and take care of one another.
wow, Chef Huda, thank you so much for being with us. And I'm exhaling now because when I leave here, I got to go to the
Just take
store.
a breath. It's the
Yeah.
holidays. Just
Okay.
breathe. Have a
Thank
delicious
you.
holiday.
Yes. Yes. Thanks so much, and you have a delicious holiday as well. I'm sure you are cooking and not depending on other folks, or how does that work? How does that work?
Oh my goodness. And so it's funny, as someone asked me this before, I always cook for the holidays. Last year we had 60 people at my house. So the holidays are always a fun time for me to experiment with new dishes and also some of the oldies but goodies or the signature dishes. But it's funny because my family, I swear people made Thanksgiving and holiday dishes before, but somehow when I became a chef, everyone forgot how to cook. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, but I love my family. They bring great desserts, so I can't be mad.
Wonderful. All right. Well, enjoy. Tell everybody Washington Former says Happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do.
Oh, thanks.
Happy
No problem.
holidays.
Thank you. So, we had to get this in here because we talked about feeding others. We talked about feeding our families and friends. And of course, now after all that, we're sitting there stuffed like a turkey. Have to really think about what comes next. And I am really, really happy to have Clarissa Shepherd with us. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about exercise. She's a powerhouse in the world of Pilates, who's not only dedicated to transforming lives through movement, but is also making waves in the realm of professional sports. So, welcome to Let's Talk. Clarissa, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for
Oh, I'm thrilled. I mean, I'm doing fine, but I'm thrilled to have you on the show because I'm sure a lot of us have heard about Pilates, heard good things about Pilates. And as a matter of fact, not too long ago, I was looking for a Pilates class and I don't want to tell you where I ended up, but I was like, no, this is the Orange Theory. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, that's completely different.
That was not what I was looking for. So I'm still in search of, but I'm glad that you're here to kind of help us to understand this world of Pilates. So tell us what it is and how you ended up becoming, this guru when it comes to Pilates.
All good things in my opinion, just it's a process and it takes time. But I started my Pilates journey back in 2016. I was living in Dallas and I was working at the front desk at a Pilates studio, and I wasn't a great admin. But what I did learn from that experience was how to teach exercises and how to move in primarily Pilates. And I just gravitated towards that. And that's what inspired me to get my certification at that time. So that's really what inspired me. And it was the first time I ever saw a woman-owned business. Never saw that before.
Wow. So what is it? What is Pilates?
So Pilates is strength and mobility training. So, think of it as I'm kind of picking up a weight, but being flexible at the same time, because that's what the springs do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, you think, so you're using equipment because I'm familiar with yoga and then all the other things. But I mean, is there an
Yeah.
explanation you can give me that help, or give all
Yeah.
of us, that would help
I
us
mean,
to understand the
I can
difference?
show you actually.
Mhm.
So I'm actually in the Pilates here right now. I'm just going to turn
Okay.
my camera really quick. And
Okay.
behind me, you'll see what's called the Pilates Cadillac. And I'll actually just kind of even give you a quick tour just so you can see it and get a better idea of
Okay.
it. And I'll just show you this part because this is probably more relevant. And right here, somebody would be laying down and they'd put their feet and or their hands on this to push the bar up. And that will help with strength in their legs, but also mobility in their lower back. So if you ever have any lower back stiffness or issues, maybe try hopping on a Pilates Cadillac because that will really help, especially, with a good solid teacher, help alleviate some back pain. That's
Mhm.
really, really cool. I just wanted to show you that really quick. Hopefully that
No,
gives
I'm
you a better
glad. Yeah.
explanation. Yeah.
Right, right. And so it builds strength and
Yes.
flexibility.
Yes.
Okay.
At the
Well,
same time.
uh-huh. And so do you teach Pilates?
I do. Yes, ma'am. So I've
Okay.
been teaching since 2016, and I'm actually a master trainer for Club Pilates. So not only do I teach Pilates, I help other people become teachers to be able to teach Pilates to the masses.
And I understand that some of your clients are actually professional
Yeah.
athletes, NFL players like Terry McLaurin and others
Yeah.
are some of your
Yes.
clients. So it's a exercise that benefits both men and women.
Absolutely. And when working with my athletes, whether I'm working with Terry, who's a wide receiver, or a defensive end like Andre Jones, what I do is I cater the exercises to things that they need. For example, with Terry, I worked a lot on, improving the flexibility in his hamstrings so he could have a longer stride, and also so he could jump a little higher so he could catch those high balls as needed. So I did some movements for that. With Andre, who is a defensive lineman, I worked more on like the force and the push and activating those smaller muscle groups that he needs to be able to kind of push, somebody out the way to get to the quarterback. So I worked a lot on the stabilizer muscles, with him.
Wow, that's a great group of clients to have. And they understand the body, right? A lot of us don't understand the body. And when
Mhm.
it comes to aging, which I'm learning myself, is
Mhm.
that I read something the other day that our muscles as we get older can atrophy. In essence, we lose muscle.
Right.
And so what causes a lot of pain is that our bones are ending up being what our bodies depends on, and we need muscle. Explain that. Talk about why it's important to do strength training exercises and to build muscle, and what that does to protect the body over the years.
Yes. So strength training helps with bone density. And so essentially, when you are lifting weights, whether it be, an actual physical weight or you're doing something with the springs, at a heavy load, what you're doing is chipping away at the bone. And so then when it rebuilds, it gets a little stronger each time. So that's why strength training is so important, not just, for older population, but mainly for women in general, because we produce so much estrogen that sometimes it does make it a little bit easier for us to have the muscle atrophy or start to lose some of that muscle toning. So strength training, no matter the age, especially if you are a woman, make sure that you incorporate it in your practice. But that's essentially what it does. Hopefully that explains it in a really quick, simple way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not a medical class, but
Yeah.
we're just talking about how we can stay physically healthy, and also the stretching, the flexibility part of it. Explain that, why that's important.
Mm-hmm. So it's super important, just to be able to do your everyday activities. Think when you have to bend down to pick up laundry or bend down to pick up a little one, or, you have to reach back for something and you go, oh, ouch, that hurt, right? So Pilates or any sort of flexibility training that you do can help assist with that by you increasing the range of motion or just increasing, a little bit more mobility in your body to reduce pain, but just to also feel better in your own body, because sometimes maybe you're not in pain, but you just want to feel better. That's what the flexibility aspect will do at
Is
least in my world.
is
Mhm.
Pilates a lifestyle? I mean, once you start, do you see changes in a matter of, a month and you quit, or is it a lifestyle?
It's definitely more of a lifestyle. And one of the famous quotes that Joe Pilates, the creator of Pilates, said, he said, in 10 sessions, you'll start to notice a difference. In 20 sessions, maybe others will notice. And with 30 sessions, you'll have an entire new body. So it's very much a lifestyle and something that you'll want to keep up, because you'll find that it's not something that you can ever really perfect, but it's something that you can grow with as your body and changes over time. Which is something that I love. I don't really want to perfect anything. I want things to keep evolving, because that's just the world that we live in. We're constantly evolving. And that's exactly what the Pilates practice does.
Is it expensive?
It can be. I'll be transparent. It can be, especially if you're going for like private sessions or group classes. But I look at it like this, paying for a medical bill is way more expensive than paying, to take a Pilates lesson in the grand scheme of things. So if you invest in your health now, when you're able-bodied, it will pay off dividends when you don't have to take all this medication, or you don't have to see the doctor constantly, or things like that.
How would one, you're located in the DMV, you're located locally, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, if one came to you, I'm not sure where you are, but as one, people listening, they say, okay, I'm going to try this, the New Year's resolution thing. So they start looking. How do you gauge whether you're in the right place?
Well, there's a couple of things. Look at the surrounding area and see what it's nearby, because you think to yourself, is this an area that I actually kind of want to like hang out in? That's going to be first. Always know your surroundings. Number two, when you go into the studio, pay attention to how you're greeted. Is the front desk making eye contact with you? Are people asking you questions about, your interests and things that you like to do? And then number three, just maybe sit back and observe a class and just kind of see how the instructor interacts with other people. That will tell you right away if this is a good fit. If you don't like how the teacher is talking to the other students, or if you feel like the front desk was rude or wasn't really connecting with you, that will right away tell you if that's not your vibe. And if that's not your vibe, then trust me, there are 1,000 other studios that you can go to try to see if it is.
Wow. Okay. Now you've written a book on this too, right?
I wrote a children's book.
Oh, okay. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So this book called Sage Does Pilates is a very simple how-to for kids. I'm a mom. I have two small kids myself, age 5 and 1. And Sage is the name of my oldest daughter. And it's just a how-to on how kids age range from 2 to about 8 can do Pilates. It's a great bedtime story. It's a great way to promote healthy living and healthy wellness, for parents and kids. And more importantly, it's about bonding. It's a great way for you to start moving with your kids in a very cheap and efficient manner.
Wow. And it looks like a yoga class, actually. What's the difference between Pilates and yoga?
So yoga is more, I would say, mental or more spiritual.
I got you. Okay.
Pilates is a little bit more physical in the realms of we're using equipment and we're going mainly for like endurance and flexibility and strength. Yoga hits that too, but it's more of a spiritual connection, whereas Pilates, there really isn't much of a spiritual connection. It's more about the physicality of the movement. It's more linear, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And getting back to your children's book and exercising with your children, one of the things that, I believe is that when you start with them early, they may not keep it up, but they'll always come back to it.
Bingo, 1,000%. And I believe that healthy habits with kids start, or with people in general, start at a younger age. So even if they get away from it, when they're in their teens or early 20s, I guarantee you at some point when they hit their mid 20s or 30s, they'll remember, oh yeah, I took a Pilates class when I was a teenager. Or oh yeah, I used to do Pilates with my mom. Because I see that now with some of my clients where they say, oh yeah, I took a Pilates class years ago when I was in college, or years when I was doing ballet. So they always find their way back to it. So it's always good to kind of start and implement now, so they can feel like they have that solid foundation. And maybe it's something that helps them remember a really beautiful time and special time in their life.
So, Clarissa, before we go, we just finished talking about all this food that we're going to eat for Thanksgiving and the holidays. What would you advise people to do after they push away from the table?
I would advise them to find ways to start moving. So, say Thanksgiving is Thursday and you want to start moving again on Saturday. I would start with maybe doing some planks, because planks is a part of the Pilates repertoire. And I would start doing some leg movements, whether you're using the reformer or even something on the mat. I would avoid, doing too many exercises or movements on your belly, at least right away, just because it might feel a little bit full. But I think the best course of action is to just start sooner rather than later. But always just make sure that that you feel up to it. That's more importantly.
Wonderful. We put information up, and we're going to put it up again in case folks want to reach out to you directly, want to join the class, need more information, or what have you. So I'm glad that's Pilates.
Mommy.
Mommy. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I like that.
like
Pilates
Mamacita.
Mommy. Yeah. I got it. So we want to thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to do one little testimonial too. As a matter of fact, I was having knee problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was going to go to one of these places where they freeze you. I try everything. And in there, I talked to a guy and I said, what do you think about this freezing thing? He said, what's your problem? I said, I'm having problems with my knee. He said, let me tell you, go and take a Pilates class. And I guarantee you it will go away. And it did. It did.
See?
So I got a testimony, right?
I love it. See, the proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. Clarissa, thank you so much for being with us, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Thank you so much. You too. You do the same.
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yes, we're a little bit over time, but I want to thank you for joining us today for this insightful episode of Let's Talk. We're honored to have the Executive Director of Food and Friends. So if you want to volunteer during the holidays, please make sure you reach out to them. And Carrie Stoltzfus, who was with us. Chef Huda has some great ideas for your Thanksgiving and holiday meals. And of course, Master Pilates instructor Clarissa Shepherd, who's trying to help us to make sure that we stay healthy and strong. Their passion for nourishing our community and their dedication to food justice is truly, truly inspiring. At least it is to me. So if you enjoyed the conversation, please again consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and send us your review of the program. Yes, we want to hear from you. And if you have any ideas about future shows you'd like to see us do, make sure that you reach out. Your feedback is important to us and helps us to continue to bring you meaningful discussions with wonderful guests. So let's keep talking about issues that matter. Until next time, take care and enjoy your Thanksgiving.